take a little wander down Mike McDaniel land. Mike McDaniel was asked about the idea that they didn't run it enough on that final drive. And
You
here
think?
is Mike McDaniel who says, this is his reaction to people wanting them to run it more on that final drive.
One thing that I'm absolutely positive of, with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go, if the run didn't work, we would be having a different conversation about, hey, why'd you run the ball then? That's literally the stakes for every decision and that's fair, because guess what? The people that really are questioning it, why after 2 successful runs, you're questioning, or not necessarily you, Barry, but maybe some of your readership, we'll give you the out, are questioning that. Well, that's it's because they want it to work.
Yeah. And also,
here's what I would say to that is that coaches sometimes will go through like a series of plays, like those first 2 plays where, Mostert had his way with the defense, right? And they start thinking, there's no way in hell this could work a third time, right? Mm-hmm. That's a certain train of thought. And there's other trains of thought where a coach will say, let's keep doing it until they stop it.
Right.
And that's where and I don't know whether that falls in the category of trying to outsmart the room or not, or leaving well enough alone.
Yeah,
right?
It's tough. It's tough just because you've had this quarterback who's been so good all season long. You can always trust Tua to usually come through.
Correct.
So all of a sudden you're going to bail on that. It's a tough thing.
And it's tough from the standpoint of, here's how Mike McDaniel is thinking, right? We've had 2 really awesome successful run plays here. Here are the list of plays that I have as a response to that, right? So you try to stay one step ahead of the defense, knowing that they probably think you're going to run. You see what I mean? But here's the problem. From a defensive perspective, you are trying to get penetration to stop the run, right?
Mm-hmm.
And by accident, you get a couple of sacks. You see what I mean? So the thought process of what Mike McDaniel was trying to accomplish was 100% accurate, as that here are my alternate plays to those plays, whether it's a play action or something like that. However, now you got the defensive line of Kansas City thinking, we got to get penetration into the backfield to stop this run. And oh my goodness, you're passing it, and now we got a sack. That was the thing. If you're going to do that, you also have to keep in mind that, if we run this play action, now might be a good time to move the pocket.
Here's a little bit more from Mike McDaniel on people second guessing him.
Every single situation, literally every time you go for it, every time you don't, when people care about the result, they're going to be like, well, you should have done the other thing. It just ran for 40 yards in 2 plays. Why should run it again? It was definitely on my mind. But I think when things don't work, if I look at critically, was that the right decision? And then the players are able to, in a healthy manner, say, I don't care what you call, coach. We need to execute our fundamentals and technique. That's the vision of the entire that's the vision of what I think ultimately will have success over time in the way that we want it. And I think that's what's going on. I don't think there was a player that was like questioning going empty and passing the ball.
Except
and
Mostert, probably.
I know that every single play, especially when they don't work, I'm like, well, yeah, you probably should have done the other thing. Let's do the stuff that works.
I do like that strategy.
Yeah, but again,
Mostert's the only one who's going to be looking at coach being like, "Hey, man, I'm hot, baby."
But again, understand how a game plan works, right? The way you go through a game plan and calling plays is trying to be one step ahead of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that you get off the run game before they stop it. And then you can go back and forth. You can always go back to it, right?
Well, it's like you said, too, because they don't run anything up the middle. It's usually all wide. And so if it does blow up, it could be really catastrophic.
That's the only problem that I had with Sunday's game, right? Is the fact that they waited too long to get away from those outside runs, because clearly that was a point of emphasis for the Kansas City defense. Anytime you ran out wide, and the other thing is that anytime you ran out wide, it wasn't a 0-yard gain. It was a 5-yard loss.
It was rough, some of those.
Every time. So I would have literally trashed those plays, not based on the success, but based on how far behind the chains they put you when it wasn't successful.
Take a quick break. Back after this.